10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Growing bolder, what's next?
Happy Friday, everybody, and a big hello to our friends on Facebook, everybody out there on YouTube, and today, for the very first time, hello to all of our friends on Twitch. We are reaching out, getting a bigger and a better audience all the time, and we are so grateful to you for being here. This is Growing Bolder. Bill Shafer here with a guest I wanted to have on for quite a while. He's a notable Hollywood celebrity, but that's only part of the reason. Today we're going to meet actor Eddie Deezen, an actor who's seen the highest of highs, and most recently he's experienced the lowest of lows. In fact, I'm not sure how many interviews he's done since, well, his life took a dramatic change. But we're going to find out about all of that. I promise you he is a very interesting and a very kind person. Eddie is one of those guys who is a much-loved personality. I'm really glad we were able to make this work. And I know he's standing by in the wings, ready to go. So just so you know who we are talking about, it was back in 1978 when he made his film debut, when he joined Olivia Newton-John, look at that pic, and John Travolta, in the movie Grease. Not a bad way to start off your film career, huh? Well, he's done a number of amazing voiceover parts as well. And one of them I think you'll recognize right away. In 2004, he was in a film called Polar Express, and there's the character that he voiced there. Heck, the guy was so popular that he even had his own action figure, which isn't bad for a kid from Cumberland, Maryland, who really wasn't exactly sure what he was going to do with his life. But recently, a sudden and severe health challenge changed everything. It put Eddie's life in peril for months. He's only recently recovered, and I have a feeling he's got a lot to say about what it's like to suddenly wonder if this could be it. So let's give a growing bolder welcome to Eddie Deezen. Hi, Eddie. How are you?
Morning. How are you, Bill?
I guess that question used to be just a throwaway line when people say, how are you? But boy, we were really worried about you. Could you tell us what happened to you and a little bit about that story?
Well, before I start, I want to thank all the kind people who said prayers for me, sent me cards, gifts, letters, notes, PMs on Facebook. Just so many wonderful people. I'll go to restaurants to this day. I'll go to restaurants. Hi, Eddie Deezen. Hi, said I prayed for you. So these are wonderful, caring people on Facebook and my other friends. I'm very best friend wise. But anyway, Bill, it started up. I did a signing show. You sign Rogers for fans and all that. There's signing shows. I did one in Canada. This was in 2019, April. And we were in Canada. We finished the show. It was a fun show. It was a great show, great people. And then I was at the airport the next morning. The driver to pick me up was late. So I go to the airport and I was scared I'd be stuck in Canada and I wouldn't be able to get home and catch my flight. So he drops me off. I ran, I'm running through the airport. My terminal, of course, happened to be like the last one down. There was like a mile down this big airport. And I ran and I ran and I ran. Now, Bill, I was born with a heart murmur. I have a heart murmur. One of the valves is not connected. But I could have lived my life with a heart murmur. I think Ronald Reagan had one. Jerry Lewis had one. So I had a heart murmur. But this one was bad. I was running through the airport and all. And I ran so strenuously, I really yanked out the vessel, the valve to my heart. It pulled it out. I felt kind of funny. And I got on the plane. I remember I asked the stewardess for some water. She gave me water, and I gulped down the whole bottle of water, and I just felt a little bad. Then I started, when I got back home to the United States, I was walking around, Bill, and I would lose my breath. I found I couldn't breathe. I'd be walking down Sunset Boulevard, and I couldn't breathe. I'd be walking down Hollywood Boulevard. I couldn't breathe. What's going on here? So finally, one day, I couldn't breathe. I was like, oh, look, I got to go to the emergency room. So I went to the emergency place in Hollywood, emergency hospital, Hollywood Presbyterian. They found out that I pulled out, they told me that I pulled that thing out, and I got a clamp put on my heart. It was a temporary thing. They put a clamp on it. It stopped the bleeding. What was going on is blood was rushing out from my heart, because the valve was taken out. So they put that on the clamp to stop the bleeding. It was okay. A couple months later, I started feeling woozy. I did a Polar Express tour around the country. We went to all these states, Florida, Texas, and Maryland, West Virginia. Oh, we were all over, with Polar Express, and it was a wonderful tour. But I was feeling funny. I felt kind of woozy. I meet the nice people, and that's the adrenaline high. That was fun. I meet them and shake their hands and all that. But I go back to my room and I would feel woozy and what's going on? I don't know. I thought I was losing my mind. I thought I was going crazy or something. It turns out that there was blood. The clamp had come off, and there was blood rushing in my head. So anyway, after that, I finished the Polar Express tour. I felt weird. About a week later, I went to the hospital again. They said I had to get heart surgery, open heart surgery. So I got, it was a double or triple bypass, I'm not sure, but I got a double or triple bypass operation. Now, my bad luck couldn't get any worse. I was allergic to a drug called Heparin. They gave me, and that complicated matters. I got it, and I got really, really sick. Surgery was botched, and the Heparin made me really sick and all. And I was in a coma for a long time. I was in a coma. I lapsed in and out of consciousness, and my family would come to visit me. The doctor would say, how is Eddie? And the doctor goes, he's touch and go. He goes, I don't want to worry you, but he's touch and go. I came this close to dying. I was really lucky. So let's see. I was in the hospital for months, different hospitals. They put me in that one. I was there, and I kind of got a little better. Then I went to another hospital. I was in lots of different hospitals. They were giving me all kinds of pills, And it was a very gnarly time. And I wasn't healthy at all, and it took me a long time. Now, I was bedridden. When I woke up, I woke up out of the coma, and I couldn't talk. I had no voice, and I couldn't walk. I had no legs. So I wake up, what the devil, I'm harpo marks. I couldn't talk, and I tried to move, and I couldn't move my legs. The doctor told me, he said, what's going on? He said, you were unconscious for so long that your legs lost their power. If you don't move your legs, for like days and days or weeks or whatever it was, your legs will become numb like that. You have to keep moving your legs. Its muscles have to be used, or you will go, it's like you're not mentally challenged, I'm sorry, physically challenged, and your legs won't move. And anyway, I had a vocal coach lady come in to do exercise with me for my voice. And she gave me this list of words, and they were like these 2-syllable words, like happiness. That's not 2 syllables, that's 3 syllables. It was like, I'm trying to think of words, horseplay. And duck soup, and she gave me a list like about 60, and I had to keep saying them over and over. Horseplay, duck soup, and at first I had no voice, and I did these drills over and over and over and over and over. Finally, after a couple weeks, my voice started to come back, and it did come back. As far as the walking, I was bedridden; I couldn't walk. I was, going to the bathroom with a bedpan. Then I worked my way up to getting in a wheelchair. They got me in a wheelchair, and I got where I was strong enough to pull myself off the bed, get into a wheelchair, and I'm wheeling myself around, like Raymond Burr and Ironside, I was in a wheelchair. That was it was definitely scary. And I worked my way up. I could use a walker, and these nice girls would walk me down the hall, and I would say, I would make 200 feet today. I walked 300, and a couple days later, I'm up to 300 feet. I could barely walk. With the walker, I'd straighten. These girls would be at my side, holding my arm, and I got to do that. And I got to where I was walking with a cane. And start walking with a cane.
So, Eddie, let me jump in for just a second, Eddie.
Absolutely.
Sorry for
being such a long story. It just was a
long
story.
And part of why this is such a great conversation, Eddie, is because folks, you can see what Eddie's like. This guy, he's full of energy, he's full of passion, he's full of life. And to go from, one day finishing a tour with all these meet and greets, it just almost went like that. So none of us ever know in life when things are going to change. For all of us who like to put things off forever, Eddie's here to tell us that, man, don't do that, because you never know. Even somebody like Eddie. And Eddie, one of the other things that you talk so honestly about is something that people shy away from is, yes, you had all of these physical problems, and we never knew. We were following your story, and your uncle would come on and say, Eddie's doing better. And then, oh no, he's taken a turn for the worse, and we don't know what's going to happen. But you say that one of the toughest parts of this whole thing was the terrible depression.
Yes, after I finished, to finish that story, I'm sorry for such a long story. I'll just finish it up real quick. I did a walker, and I did that. Then finally I got back to the point where I could walk. And then finally I worked my way back to being physically healthy again. So that was okay. Then I wasn't well mentally. After that, because I've been through so much, a major depression came crashing down on me. And it was a horrible depression. I did want to die. It was so bad. I'm not kidding you. I would deliberately go without my COVID mask on. And I try to breathe in people's air. I go to it and I try to inhale air so I can get COVID and die. That's how depressed I was. And that lasted for a long, long time too. I couldn't go. Facebook, as everybody knows, it's my passion. I love my Facebook friends, and I love going on Facebook every day. But I wouldn't even go on Facebook. Books are my passion. I couldn't read books. I just sit in bed all day and mope in bed. wish I was dead. I didn't pray at that time. I just wished I was dead, and it was terrible. And I didn't eat. My brother would go out and get breakfast every day. Oh, what do you want? I don't want anything. And you're not Gandhi. Come on, you're not Gandhi. You got to eat. I didn't even want to eat. When you want to die, you don't want to eat. So that lasted
So,
a long
Eddie,
time. And finally, I pulled myself out of that depression.
Do you remember what was it? Because I can understand you going into this thing thinking that there really is no tomorrow. What was it that flipped the switch that helped you start to become you again?
Well, Bill, while I was in my depression, my beautiful sister Barbie, she kept saying to me, "Depressions always end. Depressions always end." And I didn't believe her. I thought that's a bunch of baloney and all. But luckily, and this is to anybody who might have a depression or be in a depression that hears this, depressions do always end. It's always an end cycle on that. For whatever reason, it's merciful. The good Lord or whatever power there is, there's mercy. Like, I've never heard of a depression that lasts an entire lifetime. We always eventually pull out. So hang in there. Don't do anything drastic. Anybody who's going through a depression, don't do anything drastic because you will pull out of it. For me, Bill, to answer your question, I started reading books again. Books are my greatest love in life. And I started reading a Beatles book, and that helped pull me out. I started reading Beatles magazines. The Beatles for me is the thing. And I started reading that, helped get me happy again. Then I got on Facebook with my beautiful Facebook friends, and that really brought me out. And I was with the wonderful people in Cumberland, Maryland. The people in Cumberland, Maryland are so nice. I've had actually 3 breakdowns this lifetime. And every time I went from LA and I came to Cumberland, Maryland, and every time the wonderful people of Cumberland pulled me out of my depression. So to those with a depression, there is hope. There is hope. Remember that.
What a great and an important lesson from Eddie Deezen. Depressions always end, even when you think they never will. Eddie,
when you're engulfed in it, Bill, when you're engulfed in it, doesn't seem that way. It seems like you'll never get out, like you're in quicksand. But it does get out. You just have to pull. Depressions are the most introverting experience in the world. You're totally introverted. You can't look out. But gradually your attention will start going out, and then you become, when you're a regular person, not depressed, you're looking out at the world. That's the way we should be. We should look out at the world.
Is it even harder, Eddie, when it's somebody like you? Because I'm sure everybody looks at you from the outside and says, wow, I mean, the guy's a movie star. He's in all these great films and done all this great voiceover work. How could that guy ever not be happy?
Yeah, because you're right. That's how I always look. Even before depression, we all have off days. Just as simple as an off day. I go to an audition and I'm walking down the street. Hey, it's that funny guy. Da, da, da. So I'm kind of I kind of do have that happy demeanor. I always look at him. I walk kind of funny. When you're funny, you think it's happy. You go, this guy's funny, so he's happy. So I have scoliosis, Bill. I walk kind of funny and all, and I kind of talk funny. So I had that, and people always expect that of me. So yeah, I understand what you're saying there. People always thought it was funny. So I try to I didn't want to bring other people down. So I kind of put on a little bit of a happy face, but there was periods where I couldn't even smile. Literally, people, Eddie, can I get a picture with you? And I go, sure, and we pose for the picture, but I literally couldn't smile. I was that depressed. And I'd stand there and you see pictures of me from that period with this solemn face, Yeah.
And I can't help but think, Eddie, that if that's you, how many other people are out there who maybe go to work at their job and try to put on a good face and try to put on a good attitude, who really are hurting inside.
Absolutely.
What do you do? What's the best thing? I mean, I'm sure you didn't feel like reaching out, and you probably sort of resented your sister from telling you it was gonna be better.
Yeah, when I say no, again, I was getting to the point where I read books. For me, it's books. But I'd say to somebody with a depression is, first of all, hang in there, it will end. But second of all, is find your thing. Everybody's got their thing. For me, it's books. Not everybody likes to read books, whatever. Maybe for you, it's food or whatever. Maybe for you, it's going to the movies, going to the beach, whatever. You got to find your thing and force yourself to do it. And the thing that brings you joy in life will eventually set. It's not an overnight process to come out of depression. It's going to be a day-by-day thing. You get a little stronger every day. So try to find your thing. Whether it's coin collecting or stamp collecting or something you can engross yourself in, get into that, and that'll help pull you out too. And of course, it goes without saying that the friends, the wonderful people. There's so many wonderful, beautiful people on Facebook. You can go on Facebook and meet the most wonderful people in the world on Facebook. Friends, your family, if you have a mate, your husband or wife or girlfriend or whatever, people will help pull you out. So you start talking, try to talk to somebody, and it's hard at first. You're just going to be down at first. Maybe they'll hit on something. It'll stop. I feel a little better today. I feel this modicum better today. Maybe I'm 2% better today. Maybe tomorrow I'll be 3% better. And you keep working your way up, and then, like me, then you get to be 100% better. I've never been happier in my life now. I'm totally joyous. I'm enjoying every minute of my life. Here's one more thing I want to say, Bill. I did start praying again. I hadn't prayed in like 40 or 50 years. I thought, oh, this is for the common folk praying, you know. And when mine was coming to an end, I started praying, and I realized what a catharsis it is. You can say anything you want. I'm not going to evaluate for anybody. If you're an atheist, you don't have to do this, you know. But I say to the Great Spirit, I just go, Grace. I go, this is how I start my prayers, Bill. I go, dear him, or her, or both, or whatever. Dear Great Spirit, and then I'll go down. You know, please bless my mom and make her healthy, and I'll go down the list. And you can just say whatever you want. And I found when you ask the Great Spirit for things, you'll get at least 50%. You bet at least 50%. You're not going to get everything. You know, oh, I want to, you know, I want to star in a movie, you know, opposite Meryl Streep. No, that's not going to happen for me. You know, but you ask for what you sincerely want, and I found if you do pray, you'll bat at least 50%. I found that true with all my prayers.
Eddie, that is such great advice, and so important for people to hear, you know, especially from somebody like you who doesn't look like they would ever suffer from depression. And I do want to add, maybe you didn't have a movie with Meryl Streep, but you did with Morgan Fairchild, and that's
yes,
pretty darn good.
She was a great kisser.
You guys had a love scene, a romantic scene, and there was a pretty good story about how you approached that. I know you were a little nervous going into it.
I always say, this is the easiest question I ever had in my whole movie career. I've done 25 or whatever movies. Easiest question I ever had. Morgan Fairchild and I are going to do a scene. It's the old comedy guy, you know, the beautiful girl kisses the nerdy guy, and then she moves and his glasses are fogged up, you know, with steam, you know, and glasses. It's like a sight gag. So Morgan and I are going to rehearse. Morgan and I were going to do the scene. Fred Olin Ray, who I love as a director, you're going to kiss Morgan, do a prolonged kiss. So then we're there. Morgan goes, do you want to rehearse? And Morgan Fairchild is asking if I want to make out with her. You know? You think? Yeah. And then we made up. Morgan's a great kiss. By the way, Morgan's great in every way. I love her. She's a wonderful straight woman. She's a wonderful comedian. She's so talented. And she's the nicest person in the world. I love working with her every minute. Kissing her was such a treat for me, you know. It just was such a, oh my God.
Well, you have so many great stories because you have such a great attitude and an outlook about your career and about your business. So let's talk about that for a minute. And folks, Eddie's a guy who literally steals every scene he's in because he's not some unrealistic, cartoonish leading man. In fact, he's the guy that when you see him on the screen, you say, hey, that guy's kind of like me, or I know 10 guys just like that.
God forbid.
The guy from Grease, where he had 3 scenes, but he made an impact, an impression.
Well, thank you.
Eddie, you were in Steven Spielberg's 1941 with John Belushi.
Yes.
Eddie was one of the voices
nice
of the Polar Express with Tom Hanks. I bet you love Tom too.
Oh God, the nicest guy in the world. We finished shooting, Bill. The joy, 10 weeks of shooting with Tom Hanks. Tom is my favorite movie star, even before Polar Express. He's my favorite movie star. So the first day I go on, I auditioned for Polar Express. Bob Zemeckis directed it, who knew me. Bob wrote the role especially for me. So I kind of had it. I went in and did an audition. It was kind of a formality, and I got that. So I'm hired to do this movie called Polar Express with Bob Zemeckis, who's my favorite director. I had done the first movie Bob ever did called I Want to Hold Your Hand in 1978. He remembered me up to 2003 and wrote me into Polar Express. What a wonderful guy. But he's the best director I ever worked with. And anyway, I didn't know. So the first day I report to the set, they get me a driver, and I'm driving to the set the first day at Polar Express. I'm there with all the cast and crew are there in the room, you know. So Tom Hanks comes bounding in the room. He's like, you know, Tom Hanks bounds into the room. He's like a kid. He bounces around. He doesn't want to bounces. So he comes in. I'm thinking, am I seeing things? Tom Hanks is going to be in this movie. He comes over to me out of the whole group. He picks me up. He shakes my hand. Hi, Eddie. I'm Tom. No blank, Sherlock. You know, are you serious? But that's how unpretentious he is. Now, after we finished shooting, I could give you a million Tom Hanks stories, but I'll just give you one. After we finished shooting, the last day of the shoot on Polar Express, he goes, Eddie, he turns to me. Eddie, I hear you're a baseball fan. Yeah, I am. I love baseball. I'm a Pirates fan. Oh, you want to go to a game with me? Go to a ball game at Dodger Stadium with Tom Hanks. So he took me to 3 games. And he's just the greatest guy in the world. He keeps box scores. He's like a little kid. He keeps his box score, you know, gets a hit, hit a double. And he keeps his box score. He would look at the scoreboard. What's Oakland do? He's an Oakland fan. He used to be a peanut vendor at Oakland Stadium. That's how he used to make his living. He used to throw peanuts at Oakland ball games. So he's still an Oakland fan.
That's amazing. I sure hope they put you on the scoreboard when you were at the ballpark sitting next
Yeah.
to Tom Hanks. That would have been
Yeah,
a
really.
beautiful moment. Hey, so there's another side to acting, Eddie, and
Mhm.
you're such a positive guy, but acting is an abusive business. It's full of rejection and
Oh, yeah.
disappointment, and
Unequivocally.
nobody likes that. So
Right.
where did you get the courage to go through that, and has it been tough for you?
That's a great question. You got to remember all the actors go through this, and you got to remember they all went through it, and we were all turned down. Elvis Presley auditions for the Grand Ole Opry, and you go back driving a truck. The Beatles were turned down by all these things. So the greats, from right on down the list, from Frank Sinatra, all down the list, all had their rejection. And you're right, it's part and parcel of the business. So you just got to get used to it, and it gets you down. You go, you have an audition, you're all hyped up. It's a weird thing, Bill. And another thing, any actor will tell you this too. You go to auditions and you do them. And sometimes you go in, okay, you think, I'm doing my comedy. My God, I knocked him out. You're in the room and I was like Bob Hope and Groucho Marx. I killed him. And then they'll never call you. You never get a call. And the reverse side of the coin, I've had auditions where I thought I was so bad. You go in the room and it's cricket, just dead silence. And then I remember literally, I was talking to my agent after an audition. I go, this was the worst audition of my life. It was terrible. And he goes, that's funny. They just called. They want to hire you for the part. So you don't know. It's subjective. How they see you, how the casting people see you is not how you see yourself. So you just go in, you do your best.
I'm fascinated by where somebody gets their confidence. I mean, were you popular in school? What made you choose acting? I mean, it's not like people would come up to you and say, wow, you look just like Clark Gable. You really ought to be in Hollywood.
Don't be a wise guy, Bill. No.
Okay, Gary Cooper.
I found, for me, it was the only thing I could do. In school, I was so lost in school. I couldn't even, not only didn't I know any of the subjects, I couldn't even find the rooms. I remember being in the hall and I was lost. Like, chemistry is in this or science. I couldn't even find the room. I was so lost. The best part of high school was looking at the cute girls. I had crushes on some of these girls, and in those days they wore real short skirts. So that was the funnest part. And playing hooky. I love playing hooky. By the way, here's some hooky advice to you kids. Do it on Fridays. The best hooky is Friday. When you're playing hooky, do it on Friday afternoons. Then you get that 3-day weekend. You play hooky on Friday, and you get the rest of the Friday off, and you get Saturday and Sunday off. I never like to play hooky on Monday or Tuesday.
Great advice from a great guy, not just a Hollywood actor, but a real pop culture fan. Eddie, you already talked about your love for the Beatles, but you're also a big Stooges fan. The Marx Brothers.
Yes. God, yes.
Gilligan's Island. You even go back to Bogey, Jean Harlow.
Oh, yeah.
What is it about entertainment, Eddie? What is it about entertainment that you're so passionate about?
Well, it's art, it's art, and that's how we elevate ourselves out of this. I'm not even talking a major depression. We all get down, that's just part of life. There's vicissitudes in life. You're happy, you're sad. You get a job, you're happy. You go to audition for a job and you lose it, you're unhappy. You ask the girl out, she turns you down, you're unhappy. We all go through, nobody's happy all the time unless you're an idiot, So you get down, and what elevates us is there's basically two ways. You talk to your friends, you talk to your parents or your friend or somebody, and that lifts you out. Now, let's say you don't have anybody to talk to, or it's not working. You turn to art. You put on the Three Stooges. For me, it's the Three Stooges or Gilligan's Island, but whatever. You turn on a great Bogey movie, Bogart. You kind of lose yourself in it. You see this great art, and that's the function of art. It elevates us. Whether it's a comedy, whether it's a good drama, any kind you want. But you see a good movie. I'm feeling down. You go to see a great film. Red River, The Wizard of Oz. Whatever you want to see. But it elevates that. And for those 2 hours, you're like, how the magic of the movies. It like transport you into another world. You're seeing this other world. Maybe you'll see a movie where another guy's where somebody's going through a bad time in the movie, and you kind of associate with that. This movie, John Wayne has all these bad guys, or Tombstone, there's all these bad guys, and it kind of makes you feel better about your own life. You see the confidence. My one thing, Bill, every year on my birthday, I have one custom. I always watch Tombstone, the movie Tombstone. It's my favorite Western. I always watch it on my birthday. I've been doing this for years. Why? Because it gives me faith in humanity. Tombstone, they overcome all this evil and good triumphs in the end. And I feel that's going to happen for humanity. I feel ultimately that'll happen with humanity.
Outlook is everything. The proper attitude, what we can manifest, what's in our head sometimes can manifest in our lives. One other thing about being an actor, I mean, it's a lot of going to auditions and waiting. And you don't ever think an actor's life could be like lonely, but I guess it's very isolating.
Oh
what
yeah,
is the life? What is the life like, Eddie?
it's
Is it
lonely.
different
You're
than we
exactly
think?
right because you're kind of, if you're not working, you're right. You're alone. It's not like I'm impressed to work. At least you're surrounded by people. You're right. It is lonely. It can get very lonely. You're alone. You're waiting for your agents to call. Let alone if you didn't get that. So what if you're not even getting auditions? That's the worst feeling. You're there as an actor, and let's say you have a lousy agent, or there's just nothing right for you, and there's no calls. You just sit there all day. You literally, you're waiting for the phone to ring. This is as old as showbiz. This is as old as vaudeville. You're waiting to get that audition or that gig, and it is a lonely feeling. So hopefully you have some bucks. So save up your money.
Yeah.
The early days. Yeah.
Well, I also want to wish you a happy birthday. Just a few weeks ago, you turned, was it 64?
64, March 6th, Pisces. Yeah.
Wow. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Is there
Thank you, Bill.
is there ageism in Hollywood? Have you
Oh
experienced
yeah.
it?
Well, not for me necessarily. Well, because of the Eddie Deezen character that I played, he's kind of a younger guy. You don't think of Eddie like the beard. This seems incongruous. When I start doing signing shows again, am I going to use the beard? So for me, it's kind of, because you think of Eddie Deezen when you get the image in mind. Those who do know me, you think of me as kind of a young guy, this young goofy guy. You don't think of it as this 64-year-old guy with a beard. It's not Eddie Deezen. It's kind of, you know what I mean. You don't think of Elvis as an old man. You don't think of Elvis as an old guy with gray hair. You don't think of James Dean. Not that I'm as good as Elvis or James Dean, but you don't think of James Dean as old. It's kind of like.
But on the same. By the same token, Eddie, I cannot think of one sitcom that wouldn't be much funnier if a character like Eddie Deezen was the guy living next door.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, even at this point. You're one of those rare celebrities, Eddie, that actually loves meeting people. Most people fear it, or we're standoffish about it, or fear it.
No,
why are you different?
Well, do you mean celebrities or just people in general?
Yeah, I guess celebrities.
Celebrities, when I started my career early, I said I'm going to meet I came to LA, Hollywood, and I'm going to meet as many stars as I can. And I've met like everybody. I've seen or met 8 U.S. presidents, and I've met I've got to work with Spielberg and John Travolta, Tom Hanks, all these people I love and worship. But not only that, like Sylvester Stallone's at a book signing. I'll make a point, and I saw Sylvester Stallone. You meet Sylvester Stallone, this great star. So I've met as many as I can at book signings, or you see him at restaurants. I'm at a restaurant and I see Nancy Reagan there, and then this is scary. When I was at a restaurant in Sunset, and who's there at the next table? Louis Farrakhan is at the next table. I was scared because I'm Jewish. I was scared out of my wits, Louis Farrakhan's eating at this next table. I was so scared. Luckily, nothing happened.
He probably looked over and said, "Uh-oh, Eddie Deezen's at the next table."
Yeah, right. I scared Farrakhan, yeah.
Something else you mentioned, you have a huge social media presence. Your Facebook profile is amazing because most celebrities treat it like they're at some big podium high above everybody else, just looking over the crowd. But you make it feel like you're looking each one of us in the eye, and you treat people the same. Where a lot of social media is getting hammered these days, for you, it really has been special.
Oh, yeah. The people that are like that don't interact with these wonderful people on Facebook. They don't know what they're missing. They just don't know what they're missing. There's so many wonderful people on Facebook. And these wonderful people I would never have met otherwise. A certain percentage of the people I went to school with, they're always my friends. And there's my real friends in real life. They're my Facebook friends. But a vast majority are just these people that all I know them is from Facebook. I wouldn't know them if they walked in the room, and you just talk to them. And Facebook, you pour out your soul. We're all together for each other. We cheer each other up, and we root for each other. We hug. It's like you don't hug each other literally, but you're hugging each other through this message. Oh, I got this job. And oh, good work. Da, 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 da. I met this beautiful girl. We're gonna have a relationship. Congratulations. I hope happy birthday. We wish each other all that. It's like a support system. This wonderful support system with the greatest people in the world, and they're funny. I'll browse through Facebook. There's this lady, Alice Mulconry. She's hilarious. And you just see these funny, hilarious things. You'll see these funny posts and profound. You read through Facebook and you go, that's really profound with this person. It's very beautiful.
And one of the things you do, Eddie, as well, is you're available through some company to do personal greetings for people.
Yeah, I'm going to get back on that. Before I had my breakdown with my heart and all that, I was doing this thing called Cameo. You do Cameo, and they send you a request. Eddie, my mom has her birthday. Can you say hi to her? And oh, hi, Mary, this is Eddie Deezen. I want to wish you a happy birthday. Or, it's my parents' anniversary. Or our daughter Mary loves the movie Grease. She wanted to say hi from Eugene. Hi, this is Eddie Deezen, Eugene from Greece. Da, 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 and you say hi. And it's a beautiful little thing. It's like a good stocking stuffer at Christmas. And you get this little message. And this is not just me. Lots and lots of people in showbiz are in. Lots of the Grease cast do them. You know, Barry Pearl and the wonder Jamie, I think Jamie Donnelly does them. The wonderful people in Grease do them. And you get in touch with Cameo and you say what you want. And you pick a star you want, you know, whether it's whoever it is. I don't know, you know, Kurt Russell or whoever the star is, and they'll record you a message. Now, of course, the bigger the stars, the more expensive it is. Like Kurt Russell might be like $100. I think mine was like $20 or $25. But they record his message. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. It is.
Hey, I wanted to ask you, you just reminded me. Talk about gratitude, Eddie. Where do you find it? How hard is it to hold on to, and what does it mean to you?
Oh, I'm so blessed, Bill. I have. Again, when I say my prayers at night, I always thank the Great Spirit. I go, thank you so much. I go, I had the happiest day. Thank you so much. Something wonderful happens to me every day. I'll meet a beautiful person. I'll have a great meal, you know, or whatever. I'll read a great book. And I thank the Great Spirit. You know, something beautiful happens every day. And, you know, when you come out, I don't know. I think intrinsically, our basic state, I think, is to be happy. But then you go through all this junk, you know, you meet mean people or whatever and all that. I think that's our native state, is that we are happy. And our native state is that we're all friends. You know, our native state is we're all friends. But we play this weird game, you know, where you hurt each other or you betray each other, or you screw somebody out of money, or you screw around with their girlfriend or whatever. We do this stuff to mess ourselves up. And I believe this causes a lot of sickness and unhappiness. Yeah. I don't want to get too metaphysical with you.
Again, such a great point, and that's one of the reasons that I was so excited about having you, is that you really have the ability to cut right to the chase and to put your finger right on the pulse. So let me help wrap things up by asking you, Eddie, what do you think? What's the moral of your story? What can we learn from the amazing career and life that you've led so far?
I would say, again, I was kind of getting on it before, but I just say, there's somebody beautiful and wonderful within you who you are. Realize who you are. You're a unique, special person. And you realize in this whole vast universe, you know, if you want to get down, if you want to really feel small, go outside, just look at the sky for 5 minutes. Just look up at the sky and stare at it for 5 minutes. You feel so insignificant, small. But that's an illusion. It's not really, because the truth is you're a big person. You're a big being. You're somebody very important. You're somebody unique. You are loved. There are people who love you. We all kind of live our own It's a Wonderful Life. You know, sometimes you forget how many people love you, how many people you have touched. You don't sit down and go, oh yeah, I met this waitress and this was a beautiful moment. What I do, by the way, I wrote notes to waitresses. I don't know if anybody else does, but I'll go to waitresses, and if they're good, most of them are nice, and I'll put, you know, to a very special waitress that I like to write them little notes like that. And you can do these little things in life, you know, these little things where you actually, because that's the real magic of life. It's not really books, and it's not really movies, and it's not really whatever, this or that. These are great things, and they'll help you out of your depression. They're great joys. But the real thing is that we're people. And as the virus has shown us, what we're going through with the virus, we're all in this together. We're all in the same boat. You know, we go around screwing each other, but it's an illusion. You know, we're all actually friends. We're all really friends, and we all really love each other.
And you do such a great job, Eddie, of making every single person feel that from you. And I want to thank you for taking the time with us. I know for myself, each person who's joined us here, you make us all feel like we've made a new friend. So best of health to you, Eddie. And here are great days ahead for Eddie Deezen.
Thank you, Bill. It was a pleasure being interviewed by you.
Hey, hang on for just a second here. Time now for our meme of the week, Eddie, which is what we do every week to end, where we search far and wide for relevant, inspirational quotes from usually world-renowned thought leaders, brilliant philosophers, or great humanists. And look who we found today. A quote from none.
Who's that funny-looking guy?
From none other than Edward Harry Deezen, who says the one thing every single person deserves in life is simple human decency. What a beautiful quote, Eddie.
Well, thank you.
It's a beautiful thing.
It was a pleasure being on your show. Thank you so much, and continued success, Bill.
You're the best, Eddie. Thank you. And I know that's one that you go out of your way to actually live by, and one that is greatly appreciated by us at Growing Bolder and by all your fans. Wasn't he great? Just a thought before we go. If you do have loved ones, family, friends, people that you think about and have lost touch with or just haven't contacted in a while, do this. try to make it a point to reach out. Doesn't matter how. Could be a call, an email, something quick and simple, because as Eddie found out, it's not like a football game. It doesn't always give you a 2-minute warning, with a chance to wrap things up. And yeah, it'll brighten somebody else's day if you do something nice for them. But just as important, being the one to reach out will make you feel good. It'll remind you to have gratitude. We really are so lucky to be alive. Take advantage of it. Have adventures. Indulge your curiosity and find things, like Eddie says, that are interesting to you. And when you cap it off by making a difference in the lives of others, how is that anything less than a life well lived? Again, my thanks to Eddie Deezen and to you. I'm Bill Shafer. We'll see you at growingbolder.com.
Growing bolder, what's next?